key art that changed every year for the guests, and that was how they could identify each different year of Horror Nights. But Jack was the first of what would become many icons for Halloween Horror Nights. But even though we did create caretaker and director and storyteller and usher, really great icons, the fans of the event always kind of latched on to this different year of Horror Nights. This crazy, maniacal clown. So we brought him back several times in the past. He was with us in 2007, which was the first year we really attached to brands for Halloween Horror Nights. We had Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface a part of the event that year, with Jack kind of being the ringmaster. So it's kind of a no-brainer for our 25th that we go back and present Jack again, but we've changed him up a bit. He's kind of grittier, he's even more evil if that's possible. He's definitely got a new look to him. He's kind of come into his own. And what we're really trying to tell the guests this year is Jack the Clown is Halloween Horror Nights. He really always has been, even before he was created, which is kind of cool. But we've got an amazing slate of content this year. We're doing 9 mazes, as Dan said. This is the most maze content we've ever had in the history of the event. 9 mazes. Our scare zones this year, we've got more characters than we've ever had in the history of the event. 2 shows. So I'm going to take you through all of the great content we've got. We'll start with the mazes. Right off the bat, for our 20th anniversary, we wanted to present a single maze that kind of brought our guests into the history of Halloween Horror Nights, and that's this maze. Jack presents 25 years of monsters and mayhem. This is literally going to be a table of contents of some of the best characters, the best environments, the best moments of the past 25 years. And we're going to deliver to our guests in a single maze. It's the largest maze in the event. It's even larger than the Walking Dead maze we did last year. This is in our Soundstage 21 facility. And it's got everything. If you're a fan of the event, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces and environments, from cursed ships to havoc environments, to the classic monsters. They have their own section within the maze. Again.
All right, and we are live. Welcome to episode 2 of HauntScene Radio. And hopefully already, I don't know if that video worked right. I figured I'd just throw it in there. That was Mike Aiello talking about the 25th anniversary. Hopefully, we're going to not have any audio issues this week. So I'm Johnny Bronto. Thank you for tuning in. And we also have Courtney with us. Go ahead and Courtney talk so we can test.
Hello. I hope you can hear me like a normal person.
Hopefully we can only hear you once.
Yes.
So if you're in the chat right now with YouTube, hopefully somebody can verify that.
Yes.
But we're going to go ahead and move forward here. And I'm just waiting to see if somebody's going to confirm or deny if our audio is working right this week.
Yes. Thumbs up, thumbs down. So.
Okay. All right, we'll just continue. With us this week, we have Drew. Drew's from Orlando United.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Drew is from OrlandoUnited.com, which doesn't just have haunts. It actually covers a lot of things. Now, Drew, if you want to take a moment, go ahead and describe your venture, OrlandoUnited.com.
Well, we started in 2008, but our main goal was to cover Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld pretty equally, because no one really does that. But over the years, our audience has kind of spoken, and we're mostly tailored towards Universal. And me, Brian, and Andy, or Hate to Fly, we are huge Halloween Horror Nights fans, so this is our favorite time of the year when we do our podcast and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are loving all the Halloween Horror Nights content, you should definitely check us out. We do a bi-weekly podcast. We took this week off because our schedules are crazy. But we're going to have some pretty good content over the course of the event as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're actually coming down in a few days to check it out, aren't you?
I am. Totally stoked.
Are you doing a tour while you're here?
No, but we all opted for Express this time, finally. But Brian is going for the site and covering the Unmasking the Horror Tour. We all did it last year, but I'm not really a photographer, so I can't justify paying the money to do it again, although it was pretty cool.
Gotcha. Well, I guess Express is worth it, especially this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely feel like Express is the way to go. I bought the whole Freak and Fair Plus with Express. I mean, dropped like the $285 for the annual pass on discount. It's a lot of money, but man, I am not waiting in line. No.
I know. 3 hours last year for Walking Dead? No, not happening, dude.
So
I'm actually getting really anxious because I haven't even bought my ticket yet because I'm struggling so hard because I can't justify spending money on Express, but I want it so bad. So I'm literally waiting till the last minute to make up my mind and get my ticket.
it's no brainer, man. You got to get that Express Pass.
I know.
I'm just worried because everyone's buying it this year. So now I feel like what usually could be like a 10-minute, 15-minute express line might actually be like 30 or 35. So
That's true. If
We'll
I
see.
if I figure out that I can definitely upgrade, I might start without Express and then see like what the verdict on that is.
I think with the sheer amount of houses this year, I mean, you got 9 houses, which we're going to be going over a little bit later. We've got 2 shows. And, I mean, what they just announced within the last week or so is the Harry Potter Diagon Alley is going to be open. And I'm hoping, with all of that being open, it will spread out the crowds enough to where the waits won't be that bad. Because 2 hours, 3 hours, Walking Dead, not going to happen. Not gonna happen.
No.
No, I think a lot of people would end up coming here for, the people that can only come one night and they would only get 4 or 5 houses done that way. And then, it's pretty disappointing trip. So, I don't know.
Okay, let's make a... Do we have Hannah watching?
Hannah, are you out there?
I need a verification on audio.
She is currently not really paying attention.
Does she have it open at all?
I'm not sure. She is outside.
Awesome. Great.
I'm so sorry.
Let's do it live.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mute myself for a moment. I'm gonna mute my microphone. I would actually like you guys to just go ahead and talk for a moment while I make a slight adjustment.
Okay.
If you want, Drew, we're going to ask you about like your first year of Horror Nights, your favorite house, that kind of thing. So go ahead and give us some of your Halloween Horror Nights background.
Well, the first year that I went to Halloween Horror, because I live in New York, I do not live in Florida. So 2007 was the first year that I finally took the trip down to Halloween Horror Nights. When I saw that they were going to have Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface, I was totally stoked. So I was like, this is the year. I'm finally going to do it. And ever since then, every single year I've come back down. Sometimes I've come down twice during Halloween Horror Nights. So naturally, like this year I'm stoked because it's kind of a throwback between Freddy and Jason being involved. Jack is back involved again. So as far as my favorite house goes, I would say my favorite house ever, it's tough because I want to say an American Werewolf in London, but that seems like such a cop-out.
Not really.
Halloween
amazing.
last year is up. Like if I did a top 3, it's all interchangeable. I would say American Werewolf in London, Halloween, and The Thing from 2007 are my 3 favorites.
So that was the year before I went, man. I got to see the sequel thing, sequel thing, a couple years later. We actually talked about that in the last episode. Well, let's do this, Drew, because a lot of those that you mentioned are the IPs, the intellectual properties. Yep. So if you had to go with the original content, the actual stories that the Horror Nights creative team comes up with, those stories, like what are some of your favorites there?
I'm very different when it comes to what I do love about Universal and Halloween Horror Nights in general, because a lot of people love stuff like Body Collectors, which I do like, but when it comes to the original stuff, I mostly like those houses that are not necessarily crazy scary, but very cool. Like Horror Nights just tweeted before a picture from Gothic in 2012, and that's one of my favorite houses because it was just like every time I walked through was a blast and something new, and the flying guys, it was nuts. And then like Interstellar Terror at 2008, one of my favorite houses ever, simply because it was just so damn cool.
It's funny you say that because I think it was that actual house that actually got me addicted to the event because the movie Event Horizon, if you've ever seen that, it's basically they go off into some other dimension. It was the same storyline as Event Horizon. I mean,
loosely based, yeah,
loosely based. Maybe they just couldn't get the rights or whatever, but it was like a sci-fi horror house. It was crazy.
I loved it, and I remember during Horror Nights 23 on our podcast, I actually said, "Man, the way they did Werewolf this year." And the set that they did for Interstellar Terror a long time ago made me think, man, an alien house would be completely killer.
Like a straight-up alien house?
Straight-up alien house. So, for months and months and months, I was hoping that the Alien versus Predator rumor wasn't true. I wanted a straight alien house. But
Aw.
I mean, hey, it was still a very cool house. And like I said before, we did Unmasking the Horror last year, and that was one of the houses that we got to do. So that was really cool. But I just love those houses that aren't necessarily crazy scary, but they're just like fun, you know?
Right. Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
I actually had sorry. I had an opportunity last year to do a tour just with Mike Aiello, and that was one of the houses that we did. And he got behind the alien and moved it around for me, and just like there were a couple other. I'm not named. I'm just saying it was really cool because he took us through and we got to look at him up close and personal. And those aliens were amazing because I was really curious before we got to see the house how it was going to be designed and how the costumes were going to work and the mechanics and everything. And I was so impressed with that. So, but I totally agree. I wish we could have just Alien and get like Interstellar Terror revamped. That would be really, really cool.
Or you get Jason X in the.
Oh no! Sure. Let's start a petition.
That's a very
for that.
small demographic, Drew.
House right there. That's one of my dream houses.
See,
I love terrible stuff.
It's funny you say that, Drew. Is because a lot of horror movies, and I'm assuming we all like horror movies. A lot of times when horror movies start to go bad, like they end up in space, like Leprechaun in space, and Jason in space, and Hellraiser in space. It's like it's almost like rock stars in country music. It's where they go to die, you know. So, but yeah, I really Jason X. I have a really soft spot for that movie. I love that movie. I don't really think people would want to go through that house, but who knows? Now, speaking of the alien house, though. The only thing missing from the Alien House for me, and I'm so jealous that actually Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood got it, is the Alien Queen. Oh my God, that thing is badass. So
massive.
Maybe sometime, maybe Halloween Horror Nights 30 or something, they'll bring it back and just do a straight up Alien House. Maybe when Prometheus 2 comes out or Alien 5 or whatever. But that would be really, really, really cool. But yeah, I did like.
That was one of the problems I think with Alien vs Predator here. Not necessarily that there was no queen. But the finale of that house was just like, it's over, you know?
It was, I mean, it had that kind of claustrophobic tunnel thing, which,
but that was the end.
Yeah, it was just like kind of like...
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's over, bye.
Can you imagine getting out of that and the actual last finale scene would be like the alien queen, like, rah! That would have been, I might have to...
Well, I mean, kind of like the Wolves from Liverpool, where, like, I doubt they just trashed the aliens. They're probably still somewhere, so that's definitely something that could be reused easily.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So we have some comments here.
Scarier ones anyway.
We got some comments. Tired Old Spook says Leprechaun versus Jason versus Predator in space.
Down.
Ooh.
Definitely coming for Halloween Horror Nights 56. Excellent.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we'll see how Freddy versus Jason does. Maybe people will just, beg to have it back, and Jason X will be the next best thing.
Well, I mean, this year, Drew can relate to this too, because what did you said they had like Freddy vs. Jason, and they had Freddy, Jason, and all that stuff at the first one that you went to, right?
Yeah.
See, we missed that. I've never seen Freddy in a house. I've never seen Jason in a house. I've never even seen Jack in a house, except the little thing they had in Giggles and Gore last year, the little picture. But that's why it's really exciting for me this year, is because I get to see a lot of that stuff that people have been telling me about for years and years and years. I missed out on all that good stuff, so it's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it.
These are the guys that, to me, shaped my Halloween Horror Nights. Like, I know a lot of people with like the Caretaker. I never really experienced that, so it's hard for me to say that. But when I think of Halloween Horror Nights, I always think of Jack, and I think of Freddy, and I think of Jason. That's just me personally, though.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't even like we were talking about last week. I'm really looking forward to Insidious. I love Insidious. I've always loved Insidious. But man, I can't even wait to be in a Freddy vs. Jason house. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh,
there's so much stuff.
The pictures of the sets that we've seen, incredible. I am stunned.
Yeah, we'll actually be seeing some of those, a couple here and there when we do our little house-by-house view here in a bit. What else, Drew? So tell me about the website. Now, you said you cover mainly Universal.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually looking at the website. You got some other stuff on there.
Yeah, we try and cover everything, but as far as construction and photo updates, we mostly do Universal because it's just if you go to our forum, our Universal sections are just busy nonstop. Disney, not so much. So what do you got to do? You got to cater to your audience. So I mean, I love Disney, but I am a Universal annual pass holder. I'm not a Disney annual pass holder.
Same here.
And for me, it's like, I live in New York, so I come once a year. So what better time to come than Halloween Horror Nights when there's always 8 new attractions at the very least?
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, have you ever done, just kind of a side question, have you ever done any of the other haunts here, like a Howl-O-Scream or any of that?
No, I'm dying to do Howl-O-Scream, but I keep putting it off every year, and it's just like, and this is not a knock on Howl-O-Scream, but I'm always thinking to myself how, like, I can go to Howl-O-Scream 3 years from now and still kind of see the same stuff. It seems like one of these years I'm gonna plan a longer trip and make some time for it. But like, especially now with the express pass for Halloween Horror Nights, I feel like I can't justify taking one of these days that I paid a lot of money for and spending even more money somewhere else. So
yeah, it's really not that pricey though. I used to live in Virginia and I went to Howl-O-Scream in Williamsburg a lot, but I haven't.
There, though.
Okay, yeah, and it was always really busy, and I didn't go that often. But after I got down here, I heard everyone talk about Howl-O-Scream all the time and how amazing it was. And we finally we just made plans and we're going in like 2 weekends or something like that. And
a week from Saturday.
Next week, yeah. And we're doing the Fright Feast that I've heard everyone talk about, and it's only like $25 extra, I think, and you get in early, you get to see a show. And you get, I think, an hour of like skipping the lines for things. So I don't know. I think it's definitely, if you get the opportunity, it's worth it.
One of these days I have to.
Yeah.
I had a comment about Shallow Grave. We're totally doing the Shallow Grave. As a matter of fact, we're going to do the Shallow Grave. We're planning probably October 3rd, that Saturday. Because our passes don't include Saturday for Horror Nights, so we're definitely gonna be doing other stuff, but on Saturdays usually. Most of the other time we'll be spent at Horror Nights. Now we'll get to those. We'll definitely get to the other haunts. Here we're gonna talk about Horror Nights.
Yeah.
Talk about Horror Nights. The whole theme of the episode. If you look at the actual stuff I set up, the lights and all the banner and all that stuff, yes.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
That is tonight. Yes,
I appreciate that. It looks good. I'm very happy with the way it's turned out. You guys look good in the little frames and everything. So it's always a marvel for me when the stuff actually turns out right, because I'm like putting this stuff together during the week, and we did our audio test to fix the audio issue we had last week, and when it all comes together, it's like it makes it really worth it. So thank you guys for sticking with us. Now, are you guys ready to talk some houses?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to switch over to the next scene here. Now, what we have is a slideshow of the different houses, logos, and what we're going to do is we're going to go around the park, talk a little bit about all the houses. We're going to do another lap around the park, talk about the scare zones. We'll see what kind of time we have left, because we have our contest drawing and the Blinky Cup. It's coming up here for the Halloween Horror Nights 16 poster. I'm excited about that, even though I was ineligible.
Do you have all the names ready to go?
She's got it ready to go. She's going to make it blink when she draws it, too.
Yeah, it does blink.
So here we go. All right, so we've transitioned over to the discussion panel. Fancy, right? And what we have here is going to be the first house that you're going to find right when you walk into Horror Nights, which is going to be probably one of the most houses that people are really looking forward to this year. It's kind of like a greatest hits of the last 25 years. It's what Mike Aiello was talking about in the beginning of this, if that video worked right. I can't wait to see the replay. It probably didn't. That's all right. I'll cut it out and re-edit it. Anyways, so we're going to talk about the 25 Years Monsters and Mayhem, which is the Jack Presents. Now, Greatest Hits has a lot of scenes from older houses in here. 3 that we know of, or at least have surmised from the media preview and that kind of thing, is we're actually going to see Forsaken, Gothic, Nightingales, which is really cool. Now, that's going to have some other stuff in there. I think you mentioned Havoc, some other houses in there. Some of the stuff hasn't been confirmed, or we're not sure, or whatever. These are the 3 that we've actually confirmed here. Does anybody remember the storyline for Forsaken?
I think it was something along the lines of the movie The Fog, with like a cursed ship. I'm not entirely sure, because I did miss that year. But I know. I shouldn't be the one to act like I know what I'm talking about.
That's cool. It was like The Fog, sure.
Am I wrong?
Wasn't it like a ship on Columbus's expedition or something in that area?
Right. I don't remember what the ship is called. If you know what the ship was called, put it in the chat. But Forsaken is basically the fourth Nina Pinta Santa Maria and whatever the ship was. Apparently they ditched them in mid-sea or whatever. They died, and then it's actually like the ship arriving later on and having all the undead sailors and everything, and they're attacking a Spanish fortress or a fortress in America. I don't remember the specifics. But I actually remember going through that house. Do you remember the house, Drew?
Yes.
It was in the parade building, and it was really cool. I mean, it had like rigging, and it had like little like bridges and stuff, and the whole thing was kind of wet. Like I came out of the house like soaked. The pirates look cool. The green little eyes and everything. It was really neat house.
It's one of those cooler, more than scary houses, but in a good way.
Okay.
And I loved it. That tilted walkway.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of stuff going on that was a little different.
At one point, when you were walking through, they had like a little bridge area that was roped off, and it was actually tilted a little bit, so you couldn't walk straight. It was really cool.
It's like after like 5 drinks at Halloween Horror Nights, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
well, yeah. Gothic was another house that was really, I mean, atmosphere-wise, scenery-wise, it was amazing. It was really cool. Do you guys remember the storyline behind Gothic? I'm going to quiz you guys on this stuff.
I don't know the storyline.
It was the
gargoyles
castle under construction, and at night they came to life or something like that.
It's it. It was gargoyles, and you went through the whole house. That was actually one of the first years that I did the behind the scenes, the Unmasking the Horror tour, which we're actually doing. We're actually doing this year.
Yes.
We're going on Sunday morning.
Okay.
We're gonna do.
We will.
We're gonna be able to go through 6 houses. We're not sure which ones yet, but that's gonna be really neat. So we'll have all kinds of pictures for you. But
Yeah,
Gothic
lots of
was
stuff next
gargoyles. And it had the first effect that I know of, and I saw this at Hollow Scream the other year, but they had this first one where you would see like this gargoyle off in this like hallway, and like he jumped at you on like a bungee cord or whatever so fast, he went from like way back there to right here, like really cool.
That got
really
me so
fast.
bad. So bad.
It scared the crap out of me. Nightingales, we talked about this a little bit last week. It's my personal favorite original house of all time. Which you're walking through the World War I trenches, these banshee things are trying to get you. Love it. Can't wait to see a scene from that house. Loved it. I've been waiting for a sequel for years. This will kind of hold me over, I guess. Next up, we have our American Werewolf in London.
Yes, he's back.
Now, it was at Horror Nights 2 years ago. So they've actually done this house before. And it's going to be similar, if not the same-ish, as what they put together, which was an awesome quality house, especially if you like the movie. Everything in the movie, including the adult theater, is in there as well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
One thing that they have announced, go ahead and Courtney take this one, is what is this picture?
I think, is that one of the original wolves?
That's
or is that the new one?
Well, you always call this Wolfie, so I was trying to get you to say
I
Wolfie.
do.
That's me in the morning.
Just make fun of me. Okay.
But
okay.
this is the actual wolf from last year. Now, these are puppets. These actually have people that are like animatronic, like people controlling these puppet kind of things, which is the same setup they used for Aliens vs. Predator last year. This year, they made them a little bit more menacing looking. So this is kind of what they're going to look like this year. So
yep,
this was
from what we know, it's basically going to be a scene by scene of the house that we had before. But the wolf pack is going to be a little grittier, a little gorier. It may have even expanded a little. We may have more wolves. And I think they said there may be a few surprises thrown in. So even if it's 90% like the house we had a couple years ago, it'll definitely be a little different, a little more exciting. It's like the rebooted 25th anniversary version. So I'm really excited.
It was definitely a really good house. It's kind of weird because I hate to say this, but I actually had never seen American Werewolf in London until I knew the house was coming out, and then I had to kind of go back and do research for it, and I ended up buying it. So it's actually a really entertaining movie. It's not as good as the American Werewolf in Paris or whatever.
Oh gosh, you guys, Jason X, this.
Look, man, you have to watch the bad movies in order to appreciate the good movies.
I love bad.
That's how I feel. I love bad horror movies. All right, so moving on. Rah, rah. Actually, I don't even know. I just want to keep doing rah.
Oh my gosh, right. You're not allowed.
Next one, Freddy vs. Jason.
Drew.
Ooh, this one gets me giddy.
Hi.
So, This is going to be awesome. Now, there will actually be versus-ing in this movie. Versus-ing. Because they had Aliens vs. Predator last year, but it was like aliens and predators and space marines in the same place, and they're all just kind of hanging out simultaneously. There actually will be a combat and a victor, depending on the cast that you get. So,
yeah, it's interesting. We're gonna actually get to go through Crystal Lake, and we're gonna actually get to go through Elm Street. So it's almost like two different houses in one. And then at the end, they're gonna be battling it out, Freddy and Jason. And depending on when you go through, the winner will change. But I'm sure we've got some good characters playing these characters this year, and it's gonna be really interesting to see them interact with each other.
We might actually have one of those on our show at some point.
Yes, we may have Jason stop by.
That'd be cool. All right, so a couple things from this particular house. Now, before we go into this, anybody actually see Freddy vs. Jason?
Of course,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite movies.
It was definitely fun. I especially loved the Freddy kung fu at the end. It was pretty awesome. So
It's not cheesy at all.
it was but the thing is we've actually missed out on that slasher kind of movie for a long time, and it kind of brought me back. I mean, because the gap between New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason was like significant, so it kind of brought you back a little bit. So R.I.P. Wes Craven, we'll miss you. Hopefully they got something, little shout out to him in there. It's a bummer. But this is one of the scenes that was put out by Horror Buzz. Now, we did reach out to Horror Buzz to get some supplemental photos. Norm, the actual person who runs that, actually gave us permission to use some photos. So remember, we're all about the community. So if you guys ever need anything from us, let us know. We will reciprocate. But thank you so much to Horror Buzz to letting us use some of the photos that we didn't have. So this is going to be one of the Camp Crystal Lake scenes. So we're going to walk through this. I can only imagine them jumping out at us here.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll even have people under the beds trying to grab ankles. Maybe.
You know, it's weird. I know that we've been going to horror nights for a while. You know, after you go through, the houses and you kind of get used to it, like where all the boo holes are basically where they pop out and get you. You start to kind of get a little jaded. You start to look for things like, I think a person could fit in there. And then sure enough, there's an arm coming at you or something like that. So did you guys experience that? I do.
I'm always high alert when I go through now. I'm like, the first time through, I'm always like, all right, where is everybody?
Right.
But,
I don't know.
Is this guy real? This guy's not real. Oh, he's real. He's real.
I'm the opposite. The first time I go through, first night, I get pretty terrified and sort of hide behind whoever is in front of me. So typically the second time I go through is when I actually see where people are, but I've already been through once to sort of expect it. So I do not go searching specifically for the scares because I'm still a scaredy cat. I'm a total baby. I admit it. So
that's all right. As the event goes on, we still get a little bit used to it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you see us walking through the house, characters out there, if you see us walking through the house, I'll be rocking my brand new HauntScene radio hat.
Whoa.
So if you see me wearing the hat, get Courtney.
Oh.
All right. You see
I
me,
didn't know that's where that
get
was
her.
going.
All right. I'm bad. Like I have a friend, my friend Lindsay. She might be watching this. I like point to her and stuff. She hates it. She like pins my arms down because she knows I'll try to get her. So. That's kind of funny. So here's one of the scenes from Camp Crystal Lake. I'm assuming this is going to be the Freddy part of it. Another photo from Horror Buzz. So it's basically going to be the first third will be Camp Crystal Lake for Jason. Second third will be Elm Street. I believe you're actually walking through the facade of the house on Elm Street. I love it when Universal does the house facades. They always do them like perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
They're real good.
Halloween. Cabin in the Woods, Dead End was amazing. Dead End was like really good. Like I wanted to like move into the house. Not really.
Oh no.
No.
Well, 2007 they did the Elm Street facade, and that was the first house that I ever did at Halloween Horror Nights. And I remember, I mean, for me in New York we have Six Flags in Jersey, Fright Fest. It's not good. So that was the first haunted house I did. And I remember walking into that soundstage and seeing that facade and being like, "Holy crap! Like this is legit." So I'm guessing they're going to have it in the middle of the house, kind of like Forsaken, we were just talking about before, having a facade in the middle, basically.
Right.
They have to have it. There's no way.
Can you confirm for me? Someone told me that year in that house, you got to actually walk through the bed from the scene where Johnny Depp was like sucked in. That was really good.
One of the first,
I'm
one of the
so jealous.
The room was, it was like as if the room was like twisted, kind of, and it was the room, everything was on the walls and all that kind of stuff, and then sheet was covered in blood. It was good times. Good times.
Oh,
I said,
I just, man, I hope, I really wish I could just go back in time and do these houses. I mean, I would have been like, I don't know, like 10 years old when it started, but that's cool. Man, I feel like I missed so much. So this year's gonna give us some of that back. Body collectors.
Take it all in.
Now, I know nothing about body collectors. I know that they're kind of a house based on a character from Buffy or something like that. Kind of.
They were called the Gentlemen.
The Gentlemen. Okay, I guess I'll have to go and brush up on my Buffy. I'll just watch that episode. Is it just one episode?
It's on Netflix. I think maybe it's a 2-part episode, or are they just in one?
You can YouTube all their scenes.
I don't know. Yeah, it's really interesting though. They really are. They look like gentlemen. They wear the suits. They look just like the body collectors, and they come to town and I think they steal people's voices, and no one in the town can make noise. And then they come at night and they take body parts from people, and they have these assistants in the show that they're really, really crazy, creepy looking, but they wear straight jackets. And so this house is actually going to be an origin story, sort of, because we're going to be in the asylum, Shady Brook, and we're going to see how they got those assistants. So that's going to be really, really cool, I think. I've got my fingers crossed for a spine rip scene because I've been dying for that. And I've always wanted.
There's got to be. Has to be.
I think at the media preview, I think I saw a spine on the table.
I think I saw that too. Well,
yeah.
Well, hold on. Let's clarify, because we were not at the media preview. We've seen photos of the media preview.
Photos, yes.
we went on the list. Okay, so we're getting a verification here in the comments. Thank you. Actually, thank you. It's a 1-episode storyline. So if you haven't brushed up on your gentleman / what is the body collectors kind of story, look for that. I believe, like you said, it's on Netflix. So I'll definitely be doing that later tonight or tomorrow or something like that.
Yeah,
so
it's really creepy, really awesome episode.
now I think I got some pictures here. Let's see. This is the facade.
Ooh.
So this is going to be Shady Brook Asylum.
Yes, and they are trapped inside. I think it's set in the 1800s, and they are trapped inside during a massive blizzard.
So that means this is some kind of prequel house?
Well, like I said, it's an origin story.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if, since it's Blizzard, if we'll get something sort of like, was it the Winter's Cemetery?
Yep.
Like if we'll get Winter's Night.
Oh.
I told you I wasn't there that year. Don't judge me. I am hoping we'll get some sort of cold outside that feels snowy.
They've done that a couple times. They did that in the Thing House a couple years ago as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, the episode is called Hush. So I've heard of
Hush.
that. So I'm gonna have to watch that. So shh. So thank you. Ashley's actually the one who I met up with earlier today. She actually got me a ticket, to the employee preview tomorrow. So I don't
want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. All my connections fell through, and I'm not going, and it breaks my heart.
I know, right? I gotta rush there. I'm working in Tampa, so I gotta drive straight there. So sorry, Cody.
Well, save this house for me. You're not allowed.
All right, I will save body collectors for you, but we have to do this one first, and you have to buy Express.
Oh, my poor wallet.
Oh my!
I will take donations.
Yeah. Speaking of next week we're gonna do our we're gonna talk about the merchandise, because we're just gonna have bags of our loot basically.
Yeah.
And my poor wallet is just gonna be like,
yeah.
Save me.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much this year. I mean, if you haven't heard, they're actually closing the Twister gift shop, and that is going to be like HHN merch headquarters. And I've heard they're even pulling a hearse inside. Yeah, just
awesome.
to make it super, super wicked and show off all the mad merchandise. And I'm gonna spend all my money, all of it.
It's gonna hurt. All right, so this is going to be the facade. Now, Shady Brook is an asylum. It's actually been used a couple different times for a couple different things in Horror Nights. But this is the prequel origin story where they take it over here. Now, moving forward here with this is one of the scenes. It's like a chandelier made out of people. So we see some little artwork here on the... Oh, hello. We got some artwork here on the sides, if you look. It's kind of got some anatomy, spinal type photos. So I have a feeling this house is going to be not for children.
No.
What are you talking about? Bring all the kids.
Bring all the kids.
I love when people bring kids right in front of you and just get to watch the kids' emotions change within 5 seconds.
Yeah, watch them
really
develop phobias right in front of you.
That happened to me last year in Dollhouse, which is it's like the perfect house for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
That's
this
terrifying.
sounds fun. Come on, little Tiffany, let's go. Nope,
Oh,
she
no.
didn't like it.
oh no,
She did
no.
not like it.
I mean, there's no age limit, right? I think they just suggest don't go if you're under 13, but there's no limit.
yeah,
It's kind of
I see
crazy.
some small children in there, and I'm like, yeah.
Nightmares forever.
All right, so we got some. Now, listen, guys, in the chat, we try to keep things somewhat positive. All right,
Uh-oh.
so don't be talking smack about everything. Okay,
Oh no!
you're not
Who's
bringing me
talking
down.
Smack? Who's talking smack?
We got some stuff about Run. As a matter of fact,
Oh.
Run is the next house, though. This is actually going to be the last house ever in the Disaster queue. Now, Disaster is an attraction that just closed a week or so ago. The line for that house, they've been using it for a house for years, and this is the last one. Now,
Pretty sad.
the stuff that I've read about this house, and I've never experienced any of the runs. That sounds weird. I've never experienced any of the run
Good for
houses
you.
previously. All right, and from what I'm getting from it, it sounds like a futuristic evil American Gladiators kind of thing.
No, it's not futuristic. It's actually set in the 80s. It's an 80s game show.
Okay, so was American Gladiators.
Mike Aiello said, "Think Running Man." I think.
Oh my
I
God.
believe. Is that what he said? Am I quoting the wrong movie?
I'm gonna have to watch it, Running Man again. But Running Man's like amazing.
It's definitely 80s game show themed, and basically you're the contestant and you have to survive and you have to face all these death obstacles. And I think the people trying to kill you are called Reapers, and I believe they appeared in old run houses. I'm not very familiar, but it sounds really interesting.
Is Eddie gonna be in this house?
We have no confirmation. I haven't heard anything about Eddie this year, honestly. But I mean, it was confirmed Cindy's going to be around, so it's possible.
Okay. For those of you at home that have never gone to Horror Nights or anything, they had an icon one year, and it was a chainsaw wielding, evil looking guy that was called Eddie, or he was supposed to be Jack's brother. And apparently after 9/11, they decided to go in a different direction that year, so they kind of took him away as the icon and replaced him with Jack again. And it's one of those other things that's part of like Horror Nights lore that I've never got a chance to experience. So looking forward to it. So
This is also my first run.
Oh, yay. Yeah, it's a first for a lot of people. I haven't
Obstacles
talked
make
to
me
many
think that this is going to be the house with the little crawl room in it.
Ooh,
not big on
probably.
crawling.
Yeah, crawling.
Well, crawling. I mean, you know.
Crawling. All right, so getting confirmation here from the chat. Looks like tired old spook. It was planned that way, but didn't work that way. Version 1 was dark and chain link fence and strobe lights. Maybe this version will have what it was meant to be. Eddie was in version 2. So that all happened prior to us going to Horror Nights. So,
yeah, but I mean, if you go before Disaster closed, if you went and looked at the queue right now, it looks like there are really, really tall gated walls, sort of. So maybe it will be like it was supposed to be originally.
Cool.
I don't know. I'd like that.
Here is going to be the actual facade. So this has been revealed here. It's got a little light up like you're on some kind of game show. I watched a lot of American Gladiators when I was younger. So fighting for your life, getting through evil American Gladiators, I think that could be a little bit like Nitro's chasing you, Bronco, Saber.
From what I understand, that is actually not the facade. I think that is the finale.
This is the
If
one.
you look at that picture, the roof of the Disaster is actually right there, which is where the house usually lets out. So,
yeah, I've talked to some friends because of the facade where it usually is actually close to one of the employee parking lots, and I've talked to some people that have been that back there, and they didn't see a facade where we usually have one. So I was wondering if we were entering somewhere else or if it's set up differently this year. Do you know anything about that?
I know it. I heard it was going to be a little different, but I don't know. I saw the picture and I was like, that looks like it could be the front or the back.
Since it's walled off.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, it's really hush-hush because they wouldn't even let me back there to take pictures of the disaster stuff, so it must be good. So that's going to be the last one there. Insidious. So as we move past that, we get towards the back of the park where Men in Black is. One of the 10 houses is going to be Insidious. Now, I'm absolutely ridiculously excited for this house. When they had it at Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood on the West Coast, the Universal Park over there. I was really jealous. It seems like they get all the good stuff first. Well, not. Let me retract that. They get some of the stuff that I want, like Crimson Peak is another one that I want, and I've always been a huge James Wan fan. I love Insidious. I love 2. I love 3. I love The Conjuring. I love that look. So we're going to be getting an Insidious house this year.
Yes, and wasn't it? I think it's like the top rated ever house at Horror Nights Hollywood, isn't it? Or just yeah.
Nice.
So that's really cool. And the other media people the other night got a chance to actually walk through this, and I've heard it's real creepy.
Good.
A close friend of mine was at the media preview last week, and for months he's been on the train of like, I don't get how Insidious is going to translate into a house, really. Which I've only seen the movie for the first time over the past 2 weeks or so. And I'm a big fan of The Conjuring, so it gave me that same vibe, and I'm totally stoked for it. But he went through last week, and now he's on the train of like, wow, that was one of the best houses I've ever done.
Yeah, I feel like it's just
he's
dark
all in now.
and cramped and uncomfortable, and I can't wait.
Now,
I think this one's going to freak out the general public.
From the chat, it looks like Insidious will actually be on the tour. They usually include the tent houses, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring you a lot of pictures. We'll probably have a lot of stuff on the website next week as far as pictures goes. Maybe some videos. We'll talk about the merch and all that stuff. So we'll actually share what we can with you. Not too much, because in case you guys are actually planning on going to the event, we don't want to spoil it for you. But we'll give you kind of a little bit more of an in-depth kind of heads up on the actual houses, because when you do the behind the scenes tour, the Unmasking the Horror, they actually let you take as many pictures as you want, so it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, in case you didn't know, tomorrow night is the employee preview of Horror Nights, and it officially starts on this Friday, so we will be there this weekend, and next week we'll have way more stuff to talk about and show you, so definitely check in if you want some more info.
So here's one of the rooms. This looks inviting. So who only knows which one of these guys are going to be mannequins and which one are going to be real. So if you've ever actually seen the Insidious movies, it's going to be hopefully like being in one of those, which is going to be a little crazy.
That kind of reminds me of one of the first rooms in La Llorona, where they were all sitting on the bleacher benches. Oh, really creepy.
You're going to see, we actually got to walk through the morning room at the zombie mortuary and High Scream. Very similar to that, so this could be a really cool effect. Now, we don't have any pictures of this, but we have The Purge is actually transitioning into a house this year. Rumor confirmed it was originally supposed to be based on Scream, but they changed that towards the end. I don't know if they had a rights issue or whatever. For The Purge, we're going to have a house based on The Purge. What do you guys think of that?
It's happening. It's happening. Okay. That's what I think.
Like I said before, I actually liked the movie The Purge for the first 20 minutes. After that, I just put in the strangers and pretend like the rest of the movie doesn't happen. I like the concept of it. I like the aesthetic of The Purge, like the Founding Fathers and all that stuff, because it's really kind of mysterious as to what actually happened to set up society that way. But The Purge, basically, if you didn't watch last week's episode, The Purge is basically where in America, one night a year, all crime is legal. So you can kill people, you can rob stuff, burn stuff down, and you don't get in trouble. That's how us as Americans, we blow off steam. So you're going to be like ground zero during The Purge. So in the house, I'm assuming it's going to be, I mean, I don't think they scrapped the whole thing and started from scratch. So you might be in a house being attacked by the people who are trying to get you during The Purge. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it worked well in a scare zone last year, but I'm not sure how it's going to translate into a house. And I'm pretty sure Scream was almost completely built by the time that this switched. So it'll be interesting to see what elements of that are left in there. If we can pick anything out as distinctly from a Scream set.
Yeah,
there's gonna be some.
Then we have The Walking Dead.
Oh God.
Oh,
remember, we're gonna keep it positive, guys. Walking Dead. Walking Dead for the 4th year in a row. Now, hold on. Now we're Horror Nights snobs a little bit. Walking Dead is extremely popular. Okay, millions of people watch the show. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people actually go to Horror Nights just to experience being inside The Walking Dead. It's that big, and it makes sense for them to have Walking Dead. I mean, you got to think the actual hardcore fans of Horror Nights are the very, very small but vocal majority. So they're doing this now. It's funny because I actually like Walking Dead. I watch it. I'm not a big fan of the new series. It's a little slow for me, or at least it's not getting there yet. But I mean, really, my rationale with being fine with Walking Dead or Purge is I consider this like the bonus house that's going to suck up a lot of people in the line, because people will wait 2-3 hours to do Walking Dead.
Yep.
I won't, but hey, if it gets all those people in line, out of another line, that's going to make it easier on us. So it's a good thing. I mean, it could. I mean, I can't say anything bad about the previous Walking Dead houses. They were actually pretty decent.
I think they've gotten better every year. So.
Yeah, they've gotten better every year. They definitely have. So,
and this year it's featuring an underwater feature or something like that. Like some of the characters are going to be in 4-foot deep water. It's the first time they're ever doing a scare like that.
Well,
it's kind of cool.
At one point in the actual show, they go into this like food cupboard thing that's flooded, trying to get salvage some food or whatever, and I think that's makes sense what it would be. But or maybe it's some sort of swamp or something. I don't know, but it'll be fun. I mean, it's a house, and honestly, if you strip away the Walking Dead logo, it's a zombie house. So now, are we probably a little bit zombied out? Have we overexposure with zombies? Do they make romantic comedies and CW shows about zombies now? Yes, they do. So maybe it's just we're a little desensitized to wanting zombie stuff. So whatever. So we'll just move right along. Another original house that they're going to have this year, and they didn't do a 3D house last year, is going to be like an evil Alice in Wonderland house called Asylum in Wonderland. Now, I like the 3D houses. I think they're fun. They're a good time.
They're pretty cool, and especially Alice in Wonderland, I imagine it's going to be very disorienting. I think it's actually based on a dark Alice in Wonderland comic, and some of the masks that we've seen pictures of, there was like a white rabbit that almost looked like a Hannibal mask, something as an asylum prisoner would have on, and I think it could be really twisted and really neat. I'm sure there's going to be lots of fun colors, and it'll probably just be a really entertaining house to go through.
What do you think, Drew?
My thing about 3D houses is they're either a hit or miss. That can be said for any house. But like In Between in what was that 2011 was one of the best houses, one of my favorite houses, and the 3D just works so well. And then 2 years later they go with Afterlife, and I think that was kind of a swing and a miss. And same thing with Penn and Teller. So I've done my share of good 3D houses, like Jack's Funhouse in 2007 and In Between, but between that and the new location, sometimes the house's first time in a new location, it limits what they do. But I'm looking forward to it because I don't know what to expect.
Well, this will be in the new Haunt location, which will be in the secondary Shrek Theater. So I'm looking forward to that in itself, because I think that's where our new house is, to replace where the disaster queue is. Now, you're right. The 3D houses are really hit or miss. I do the 3D once, but I actually like after that, actually walking through without the 3D glasses on and just seeing how they put everything together. Afterlife, it's funny you bring that up, because Afterlife was about a guy that was executed and all the people he killed or whatever coming back after him. It was really, I liked the house better with no 3D. Like, I actually liked just seeing the effects. But the 3D houses, they have been really hit or miss. Now, somebody did mention in the chat that it's based on we had Scare Zone a couple years ago. I think it was 2008, which was where the icons are going to be this year on the Hollywood Boulevard kind of thing. I remember that was a really cool Scare Zone. Like, it had all kinds of stuff going on. So just imagine being in an evil Alice in Wonderland scenario. So, all right, so we got 12 minutes left, so we got to get through these. So we're going to move on.
Right.
And we are...
Moving on. You're welcome.
Permanently. Thank you. You're welcome. Scary Tales. First Scare Zone. Now remember, folks at home, the Scare Zones is as you're walking from house to house through the park, they have these themed areas where you can also get scared and people will jump out at you and whatever. And the first one that you're going to experience when you go into Universal, if you go straight, is going to be the Scary Tales Scream Punk area. Now this is going to be evil steampunk stuff. Now, steampunk is the Eurotrash of goth. Just had to say that.
No.
Sorry, I had to point it out there. That's from the
It's like
guild.
the combination between Victorian and futuristic. It's really neat. And Scary Tales, we've had houses in the past. It's basically all your fairy tale characters come out of the book, and they're in real life. And this year they're going to be with a steampunk twist. So it's probably going to be pretty cool.
I think it'll be visually. I think that's probably where we're going to find our stilt people.
Yeah.
I probably
okay.
for some reason I think some of the actual outfits that they wore from like Mardi Gras and stuff kind of fit the steampunk kind of thing. So I could definitely see them throwing a little bit of makeup or stuff, but I could be wrong. So that
I
would be
went through
interesting.
a steampunk scare zone once at King's Dominion in Virginia, and it was basically people that were going crazy from the steam, obviously, and it was really neat. And I am a huge fan of Saws and Steam, and I would
Oh my
love sort
God,
of
I
that
love that
aesthetic
house.
again.
I wish they'd do a sequel to
I-
the house.
I
Yeah.
personally am just disappointed that in 2008 they also had the scare zone, the Wizard of Oz, The Path of the Wicked, where they had the flying monkeys.
That was so cool.
So I feel like this could fit into it really well with like steampunk flying monkeys, but it doesn't look like that's the case. At least from pictures I've seen so far.
Gotcha.
Yeah, back that year, because I went that year as well, and they had the scaffolding between two sound stages, between where Jimmy Neutron was and Shrek, right when you walked in the park, and they would have people on the scaffolding swinging back and forth coming to get you. So it was really, really a cool effect, especially if you stood back and just watched it. It was pretty neat, and it looked kind of scary. As we move forward through the park, we're going to do psychoscarapy. Now, psychoscarapy, basically the inmates from that aforementioned Shady Brook Asylum have escaped. And from my understanding, it's basically like there's this Halloween pageant, trick-or-treat stuff going on for normal people, mixed with evil, crazy, bloodthirsty inmates. So that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's actually, there's a fall festival going on, and the inmates start hosting their own sort of twisted costume contest, and there's going to be a burning gazebo, and they're just going to wreak havoc on this town, and it's supposed to be the goriest scare zone ever.
Ooh,
So we'll see. I love the decorations they have out already. It's really neat.
Excellent. I took a couple pictures here. A couple vehicles are out in the area. They usually use a lot of themed vehicles. Here's the prisoner transport or patient transport vehicle. It's got the Shady Brook stuff. Shady Brook police officer. And it encompasses a big area of the park. I mean, a big chunk of it. So I would probably say, like, I don't know, a big chunk around where they have the New York area, the Central Park area. Not Central Park, the New York area should be here. And we also have a food truck. Now, the last time I was there, I looked in the actual vehicles, and they have like dead bodies and stuff in there, so that'll be kind of interesting. But imagine the whole area is themed. They have all kinds of stuff going on. This thing right here, it looks like a little burned down gazebo thing, is going to shoot pillars of flame into the sky.
I think it's actually going to be on fire.
Yeah.
Or that, even better. But Horror Nights, one of the things that's Horror Night is it's really atmospheric. So you'll hear loud noises, you'll see gouts of flame up into the air and stuff like that. So it ought to be really interesting. So they had those. This was actually the Purge scare zone last year. So
Yeah, and we've seen that truck a lot. Actually, the food truck, if you look in the top right now, there's a little key that says Purge on it. And it was also the Walker bomb a couple years ago. And so I was excited to see that back.
If you look at the doors in the back when you're there, you'll notice the doors are all dented from the victims kicking last year and banging the guns on it and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
And
That window is actually just kind of like on there. It wasn't on the truck itself.
Cool. This is the pageant area. So this stage right here, this is actually a slightly older picture. This is one of the original prop updates that we took. So there'll be something going on in this stage. You may know what that is, pageant-wise, I think.
I mean, they
Looks
said
like a
costume contest.
Yeah.
Costume contest. Now, you can't wear costumes in the park, so it won't be people costumes. It'll
Not
be
for you.
character costumes. So no costumes for you. A lot of the areas are decorated. Here's my favorite, all these big spiders on the walls. But it's got stuff all over the place. The whole area is themed, like, imagine going to suburban wherever and seeing it themed all Halloween. So it's really, really cool. We have a lot of the pictures on our website. So go to HauntScene.com. Then we have the all-night all-night die-in.
Yay!
Double feature.
Yay!
Now, double feature.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and take this one, Courtney.
All right, well, they're actually calling it that because there's going to be 2 different scenes in this based on when you walk through it. And at one point, it's going to be classic black and white films. And I think we've gotten confirmed the original Hunchback, played by Lon Chaney, in this area. I don't know what other classic films they're going to feature, possibly something Hitchcock. I don't know, but it'll be really cool. And then we're going to have the more modern color scenes and films. And I think they announced Chucky, and we'll probably have some other famous monsters there. It'll be a really good scare zone to get photo ops, and it's going to be really neat. And I'm sure we'll see the usher around. And it's set in Cary, Ohio.
Cary, Ohio.
What have you heard?
I've heard that some interesting characters that have their own house this year may also be in that scare zone.
Yes.
Oh, like Freddy
it's
Jason?
Yeah, maybe possible.
Maybe?
Also, Purgers. I could have also meant them.
That'd be cool.
Oh.
Strangers, maybe?
Yep. Yeah, maybe.
I love Strangers, man.
The Strangers.
Yeah,
I forgot
Strangers are
Strangers.
awesome. But they'll be in
That's
color.
really awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a black
They'll
and
be
white
with the color
cast, and then
set.
there's a color cast. Okay.
Yep.
So here's the sign for the die-in drive-in area. Evil. Cary, Ohio is a fictional town. A lot of the stuff is fictional setting for all of this stuff. Although Cary, Ohio apparently is a real place. Here's the screen. So this is where they're going to be projecting things on. It's like a drive-in. They got all kinds of cars and stuff. Missed you, disaster already. Here's the snack thing. There's a projector up at the top that'll actually be projecting these actual movies. So that'll be really cool. I think this is going to be a really cool sit back and watch scare zone.
Yeah.
There's usually one of those. So I think this will be really, really cool to just kind of chill and watch people, get the crap scared out of them. And it helps when you have all these cars because it kind of makes a bottleneck. So that ought to be
Yeah,
really, really
it'll
cool.
be a big bottleneck. It'll be a crowded area.
Okay. So we have Evil's Roots. Now, I got to admit, on everything and all how cool everything looks this year, this is going to be what I'm looking forward to the most. Evil's Roots. This aesthetic, the Wicker Man stuff, and we've had pictures up on the website before. This is like classic where Halloween comes from, like all the old school kind of things. And you see that we have Wicker Man up there. I can only imagine this lit up at night with all the pumpkins and everything. They have Fear's Lantern here, which is really they had this Halloween Horror Nights 20 Fear, which is like was the big bad, the icon type thing this year. I'm not really sure how they're gonna it was my understanding that Jack and Caretaker and Storyteller, all the icons, all the main characters of the event, like kind of worked for Fear. Like he was like kind of like his underlings, but I'm not really sure how that plays in with Jack this year because it seems like Jack's running the show.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll really even bring in the story. I think they just put it there for us as a little Easter egg. It's popped up in other things. I think it was in Nightingales even. That's just for the fans who know what it is. They're probably not going to mention Fear.
So
there's going to be
give us
other
some
Easter
love.
eggs in this zone too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they give the hardcore people some love. I mean, people who look at this, your average person, your person who's walking past this onto The Walking Dead,
another
is going to have
lantern.
no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Wicker Man, I love this. I'm going to take a million pictures of this, especially when they're lit up. They're all holding these little jars and lanterns. So I like this. So that's going to be really cool.
In this area, we're also going to have humanoid bats, evil fairies, and I believe they said there's going to be a familiar entrance piece. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is.
Icons. One of the last scare zones is you make your way back towards the front of the park, or if you make a right when you come into the park. Icons is going to be these stands that are going to have not just the big icons like the usher, the director, the caretaker, the storyteller. They're also going to have like some of the kind of like I don't want to say like cast B icons, but some of the other representatives of the event as the year has gone by. So yeah, like the Team B, the backup team. So.
Yep. We know we're gonna see Cindy, who was she was the daughter of the caretaker. We might see the Crypt Keeper. We might see Billy. From Saw. We might see Voodoo Queen. We might, there's a lot of options. So it'll be interested to. I can't wait to see who's in that area. I'm gonna take lots of pictures.
Crazy.
Lots of pictures.
Yeah, photo ops like crazy here. So charge your batteries.
Yeah, bring an extra.
We took some pictures of the banners that are already up. These are going to be the 4 that are up. I don't know if they're going to add any more. These are kind of like the heavy hitters as far as the old icons, the old representative of the events go. So we've got Usher, Caretaker, Storyteller, and the Director, which is going to be really, really cool. So that's what you're going to see as you go through. They have like little scenes that you'll be able to take pictures with. A really good photo op location. I'm gonna eat this one up, man. I gotta admit, I'm gonna spend a lot of time here.
Right.
So I'm actually gonna like just pick a night and just pick a scare zone and just stay there all day.
There. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd love to.
Now, the last thing I'm gonna talk about here before we kind of wrap up, Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. Now, really, they do this pop culture recap of the year. This is also like my musical update every year because sometimes I miss out on popular culture music, and like 3 weeks later, I'm listening to Taylor Swift because it was in the show. So that's the only way I listen to Taylor Swift. But, I swear.
And all we really know about this year so far is that it's going to involve Kim and Kanye West, and Kanye is running for president. So that'll be exciting.
I hope that, my only hope for Bill and Ted this year is they have some sort of Mad Max reference.
Oh,
one
yes.
Mad Max reference, it will
Yes.
make the
The
whole
stage
show.
looks
for me.
kind of Mad Maxish from the concept art to me.
It does, and when I ran into Mike Aiello at the Halloween Extreme, we had a little bit of a discussion about Mad Max, and I'm hoping I planted that little seed in his brain, like Mad Max.
That would have been a killer scare zone.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
So that'd be kind of cool. Now, the big show this year, I'm not saying Bill and Ted's amazing. It's always super badass, and it's great every year, pretty much. But the show that a lot of people are looking at, and we got this from Corey Disbrow, who's one of the photographers for Horror Buzz. Thank you for taking these awesome pictures. Apparently, he was the only person taking pictures at the media preview. But the Carnage returns. So they have this big stage set up for Jack, and he's going to have a show with his sidekick Chance, who's like the female counterpart to Jack. She's in the commercials if you've seen them. We played the video at the beginning of last week. It was echoey, sorry. But they have this big stage set up, and they've added all kinds of stuff since the last time we were there. Like they've got like a Jack symbol at the top, middle, and all kinds of other props
Dungeon
here.
of Terror.
So it's gonna be really cool. Now this one is right outside the horror makeup show. It's actually right by the Mel's Drive-In restaurant here. So this will be as you're walking through the park. They'll come out every once in a while. I'm assuming it's just gonna be insane show, and we'll definitely get you some video and some pictures of that.
Yep.
I've
Definitely.
seen videos of the old Jack shows from like previous
Yep.
years. Drew,
Yeah.
did they do that in 2007?
They did.
God,
Right in this
why didn't I
exact
move down
spot.
here a year earlier?
2007.
Right in that exact spot. So again, it's bringing back such memories of my first year that I'm so
Aw.
excited.
Oh, and I've heard that he is going to be allowed to be a little raunchy this year. So I'm excited for that. And his minions are going to be a part of it too. We might have some chainsaw clowns. So
Oh yeah,
I would
that's
recommend
right.
seeing it this weekend if you can, because shows in that area.
I know,
between
they
the
get
crowd,
canceled. They get canceled.
changes.
Yeah.
They're canceled.
Gotta be
but-
there.
Or
First night.
the term I like to use, nerfed.
Nerf.
Like they toned them down a little bit because people complain about
Yeah.
it. We found that out very quickly last year when they took away the
Yep.
Voodoo Queen
The
show.
sacrifice show. Yeah, that was
which
a real bummer.
I mean, they came out and they talked about it and everything, and whatever. I mean, they were saying it was for flow and it wasn't working right or whatever. And I get that. I mean, that's cool, but I mean, I thought it was really neat because then they had that hut there for the whole rest of the show with nothing going on. So we're hoping, don't go to Horror Nights if you get offended by stuff and you're not into horror.
No.
Why are
Maybe
you at
not the event for you.
Why are you at Halloween Horror Nights? Go down the street to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween
Hey,
Kill Yourself with Candy party. Okay,
we love all. I'm a Disney
go
fan.
down there.
So.
It's slightly cheaper. It's more friendly. Nobody gets killed.
True.
Ish.
True.
Yeah. So wow, that hour we're actually in overtime right now.
It
It's
did.
9:02.
Yeah, sorry.
I know, right? I could talk about this all
much
day
to talk
now.
about.
I know.
Next week we're gonna do our kind of our first impressions. We'll show off our merchandise. We're gonna give you some tips and tricks on how to do Horror Nights effectively because we'll be there learning. We'll have some information because we're both doing the Unmasking the Horror tours on Sunday this year. So we're front loading everything to bring it to you next week. So.
Yep, we'll have a lot to talk about, and there's even a lot we didn't get through today. So
Right.
we know that we ran out of time. So if you have any questions for us or anything, feel free to comment below or message us, and we'll still talk to you before Friday.
Okay.
But next week we'll have a lot more to say. Well, all the secrets will be revealed.
Ooh.
That's
So
Ah.
not spoilery though. Just we'll give you some info on the event.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, we dedefinitely got before we roll credits here, Courtney's got a special giveaway.
Right.
So she's got her
Woo,
blinky
yay.
cup.
Okay.
Now, last
Representing
week she announced
some
the
Tony
Horror Nights 16, which had all the icons. One of the Jack years. It's a really cool poster. Wish I could have entered. She's gonna do a drawing here. Now we're gonna do giveaways from every once in a while. You gotta like us on Facebook, gotta follow us on Twitter, gotta subscribe to us on YouTube, all that stuff. But go ahead and.
All right, I'm working on opening this.
She's responsible for all the contests, by the way. I have no part in this. I just make it look
Okay.
good.
Okay, Kyle Thomas.
Kyle.
So, yes. Do you know who this is? Do either of you know Kyle?
No.
Kyle, hopefully you're watching. If you're not watching, shame on you.
Yeah.
If you are watching, congratulations, and we'll try to get in contact with you to
They
get
probably
you your prize.
liked our page, so we'll go back and look for Kyle Thomas in our likes, I guess.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's 9:04. We made it. Audio
Yes.
worked this time around, so that's cool.
Woo!
Drew, thank you so much for being here. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you so
that.
much.
Definitely visit OrlandoUnited.com for all the latest news, Universal related and beyond. So thank you so much, Drew. Thank you, everybody who watched the show live. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for putting the stuff in. We'll definitely see you guys next week. Same time, same channel, live. So thank you guys so much.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
And have a good weekend if you're heading to Horror Nights.
Yes, and you might have to bring a raincoat apparently, because apparently it looks like it might rain a little bit, which it chronically does almost every year. If it didn't rain, I might thought something might be weird. So definitely prepare yourself, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. We'll be doing Horror Nights again, so we will see you guys here. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and roll credits. We'll see you guys next year.
Right.
Drew and Courtney, go ahead and mute yourselves.
Next week. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.